on the court and be like, let's do it.
Good.
2 days is never a lot of time to build a team, and that is exactly why this stretch in Miami carries so much importance for Team USA. When fans look at the roster on paper, the first thing they notice is the star power. The lineup is packed with big names that naturally create excitement and expectations. But having a group full of talented players and actually functioning like a cohesive team are two completely different challenges. What this group truly needs right now is rhythm together, the kind of understanding that only develops when players begin to learn each other's timing, habits, and instincts on the court. Before the team travels to San Juan, Puerto Rico for the FIBA Women's World Cup qualifying tournament beginning March 11th, that becomes the real priority. Not headlines, not flashy highlights, but chemistry. That part of basketball is easy to overlook when the roster is loaded with elite talent. Yet even the best players in the world need time to adjust when they suddenly step into a new environment with teammates they do not regularly play beside. These athletes arrive from different teams, different systems, and completely different coaching philosophies. Each player has her own habits, pace, and way of seeing the game. Even when the overall skill level is extremely high, it still takes time to figure out exactly where teammates want the ball, when someone prefers to cut toward the rim, when the floor should stretch wider for spacing, and when to trust that a teammate will rotate behind the play on defense. In a training camp that only lasts a couple of days, every drill suddenly becomes more meaningful because there is no luxury of building slowly over several weeks. Everything has to accelerate. That is why Miami is less about spectacle and much more about synchronization. Behind the scenes, the coaching staff is focused on the small but crucial details that make a team truly operate together. Offensive sets are being refined, defensive rotations are being sharpened, and communication is being pushed so players can react faster once the real games begin. Because once the tournament tips off, there will be very little time left to solve problems. Adjustments will have to happen instantly, and that is why preparation during this camp is so important. Within this larger story of Team USA preparing for international competition, another storyline has quickly captured attention from fans and media. That storyline centers around Caitlin Clark. For Clark, this camp is more than just another stop with the national team. It represents her return to competitive basketball after an 8-month absence caused by injuries, and that type of break changes the way people analyze everything she does on the floor. Fans are not simply watching to see if she scores points or delivers highlight passes. They are paying attention to how she moves, how quickly she reads the floor again, and whether she looks comfortable stepping back into a high-level basketball environment. That is exactly why the early practice clips coming out of Miami started spreading so quickly online. Even brief moments from training began to draw attention. A quick transition push, a confident pull-up jumper, or a possession where Clark directs teammates and organizes the offense. Those short glimpses were enough to spark discussion because people were looking for signs of confidence and rhythm. And the most noticeable takeaway from those early clips was straightforward. Caitlin Clark did not look hesitant. That detail matters more than it may seem, because when players return after a long absence, the first thing that usually appears is rust. Timing feels slightly off, decision-making slows down, and movements can appear cautious. Yet in the footage from the first day, Clark looked active and comfortable. She stepped into drills with energy, moved the ball naturally, and showed no hesitation when opportunities to shoot appeared. Instead of easing her way slowly back into the action, she looked fully involved in the rhythm of practice. For someone who has been away from competitive basketball for 8 months, that is exactly the type of early signal fans hope to see, and it helps explain why the reaction online built so quickly. When people see Clark sharing the floor with other major talents like Paige Buchers and Angel Reese, the conversation becomes larger than any one individual player. Suddenly, the curiosity shifts toward what this team could look like once these players begin reading off each other naturally instead of simply existing side by side on the floor. Practice sessions become the first glimpse of that potential. They offer early hints of how different playing styles might blend together and how the team's rhythm could develop once real competition begins. By the second day of camp, the overall energy typically begins to shift. The opening day usually focuses on re-entry, helping players get their legs moving again, shake off travel fatigue, and reconnect with the structure of the team system. But by the following day, the intensity usually rises. The pace speeds up, the drills become more competitive, and coaches start placing players in scenarios that closely resemble real game situations. There is more full-court action, more 5-on-5 play, and a stronger emphasis on communication during defensive switches and fast break transitions. These are the moments where habits begin to reveal themselves. Raw talent can carry a team through brief stretches, but cohesion is what stabilizes chaotic possessions when plays break down and players must improvise together. Coaches pay attention to which players communicate on defense, who reacts quickly when the play suddenly changes direction, and who maintains composure when the tempo increases. Leadership also becomes a major factor during these situations, which is where Breanna Stewart's presence becomes especially valuable for the group. Stewart joined the team during these sessions in Miami, and her impact extends far beyond the highlight moments fans usually see. On a roster that blends experienced veterans with younger emerging stars, leadership often appears in subtle ways. It can be a quick comment between repetitions, a small correction during a drill, or simply the example of veteran sets by approaching each moment with focus and professionalism. Those small interactions quietly accelerate the learning process for everyone involved. For players like Caitlin Clark, who are returning to high-level competition after time away, practicing alongside elite talent brings another important benefit. It sharpens instincts and forces quicker decisions, recreating the speed of real competition in a way that controlled individual workouts never can. That is the real purpose of camps like this one in Miami. They are not just about physical conditioning or reviewing playbooks. They are about restoring the natural rhythm of real basketball. Once the team boards the flight to Puerto Rico, the environment will change completely. Practice will give way to competition, every possession will carry greater pressure, and every defensive mistake will matter more. Team USA is not simply gathering talented players in one place. They are attempting to transform individual excellence into collective rhythm within a very limited amount of time. The excitement surrounding this roster is understandable because the level of talent is undeniable. But talent alone does not guarantee control on the court. Control comes from timing, trust, and understanding, and those qualities only develop through repetition. By the time the team leaves Miami, the goal is not perfection but progress. Enough shared experience to step onto the court with confidence, enough communication to handle pressure when the tempo increases, and enough trust to know that when one player takes a risk, another teammate will be in the right place to support the play. Once the tournament begins, there will be no more preparation period. Everything these players have built during camp will have to appear immediately in real competition. That is what makes this moment so intriguing. Team USA is entering the tournament not as a finished product, but as a group that had to develop quickly. Miami became the pressure point where talent had to evolve into timing and where big names had to turn into clearly defined roles. For Caitlin Clark, this camp represented more than a return. It was a test of presence, a moment to demonstrate that after 8 months away, she could step back onto the court and still look like a player capable of influencing the game at the highest level. And based on everything emerging from Miami, that answer is beginning to take shape. Yet the bigger story is still unfolding, because the true potential of this roster will only reveal itself once games begin, once the pressure rises, and once these talented players must respond together in real situations. That is the point where talent stops being just a headline and begins turning into an identity.